Oh no, I've been changing named it. Oh man, hold on. Hey, everyone, let me quickly change some. Oh no. Whatever. Let me hello, welcome all. I'm going to please ignore that. Let's go to this one, add to stream. This is the 122nd show, but unfortunately I haven't updated that. But no worries, no worries. I'm sure I'll fix that. Never. Cool. All right, so let's start. So this is your host, Rap Raven of the Black Bear Broadcast. We're going to start the show how we start every show. Very important for you to know. And this is the important starting statement that I recommend we use whenever you try to synchronize with Black people to try to motivate or direct uh, our people into becoming constructive and trying to give them the purpose of why we do what we do. So it starts like this. When it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. Unfortunately, that's something we need to work on. Next one, individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Very important point. Please do not forget this. Very important. And last, but by no means least, constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. Now, we start every week with these quotes, these statements, and this is to help. It should help you when you try to meet new people, when you try to let them know the reasons why we are trying to fix the challenges. Some brothers might not, and sisters might not know their challenges. A lot of people are switched off, and you need to switch them back on. Sometimes you have to give them the priorities, and within those three statements, it should be very helpful. Let me know if it works for you. We shall move on. All right, cool. We're also going to start the link. When we start a link, we want to be as respectful as possible, and how we do that is by practicing the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Use those 4 values as we communicate with brothers and sisters, and I assure you, it will make it just that little bit more easier. That's right. All right, fantastic. Now, try not to use derogatory terms if possible, especially on this show. There's always different terms you can use, and if you freeze the screen at a future time, you can look through them and find your replacement words. Oh yeah, fantastic, very good. Okay, so what is Black Betterment? Well, Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. Very important that it's Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. That's it. If you do that day to day in all areas of activity, then you can qualify as a Black betterer, a person who practices Black betterment. You see, um, so that means Black betterment is a lifestyle. Basically, it's a lifestyle of accountability, I guess, a lifestyle of self-determination, a lifestyle of purpose for the people who are identified as Black. There you go. And no matter what land you're in, if you're identified as Black or you have a lineage to Blackness or Black people, then that is what it is. Yeah, there you go. Magic. Cool. We're going to show some videos today. So, don't get angry. We're allowed to, apparently, under Section Copyright Law of 1976. Right. Please, when you get time, follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram. Very poor promotion. I said this week to week, and I went down going to do a better job of promoting it. But until then, I'm just going to not. So please follow if you can. Very important tool there for us to use. Now, very important show this week. This week we asked two questions. Well, not really a question. One statement and one question. We remember Khalid Abdul Muhammad. For those that know, very important brother historically, passed away. He was born on, I want to say the 14th of January. I want to say the 14th. I could be wrong. Let me look that up. Or did he? Yeah. And I think, I actually have a database, which I should, I don't know, where's my database of Black? I try to write things down so I never forget. Black broadcast, there we go. Let's see, where's my database? Black Love Database, Black Love Database, no, not that one. Database, there we go. It's the birth and death date. Okay, let's see. Khalid, have I got him in? I have. So Khalid was born in February 17th. No, he died on 17th of February 2001. Unfortunate, but he was born on January 12th, so yesterday. So his birthday, his born day was yesterday. Big up to that brother there. All right, so we're going to look at some stuff from him. We'll probably do that second. Probably best to go on that, put that second. But first, what we will cover is how should Black men act if they suspect a police officer wants to harm them? Very, very a video has come out. I'm just going to get the information and name correct before I wonder. So I saw it flowing, I think yesterday, so I know I had time to research, but what I did find is, let's find this thing, please. Hold on, show info. Here we go. Voila. All right, where is it? So unfortunately, uh, Keenan Darnell Anderson is the brother. There were a video was passing of a brother who was, I think he called for help, or he was leaving. He was at the scene of a car crash, and well, I'll let the video explain it better than me. And unfortunately, it ended very tragic for the brother. And you know, we asked the questions. How should black men act if they suspect a police officer wants to harm them? And this is the thing: we see many brothers all over the world, but we see them being stopped by police officers, and we observe a different interaction between the officers, between black men and many other color groups. And you know, we're trying to think what's the best way to minimize harm and death. You know, the sad thing is, if you suspect someone's going to harm you, you will react very differently. If you suspect that's their goals, I think Brother Neely Jr. Fuller said, I believe it was him. I need to confirm if I am. I don't know if I'm right. He said, "Don't fuss, don't flee, don't fight." I think I've seen that somewhere. Very good one there. Don't fuss, don't flee, don't fight. That's what the brother said. Neely Jr. Fuller, Neely Jr. Fuller, Neely Fuller Jr. So I'm saying things backwards now. But yeah, so that's what the brother says there. It's tricky. How do you behave around people? I think you know there are people saying that, you know, imagine you're behind enemy lines. I think Neely Fuller said that as well, to be honest. And I recommend that. You know, and you wanna remember that one thing you don't want to be doing is, you know, get angry and irate. You know, you don't want to be you know, trying to show your superior knowledge and all this kind of stuff. You want to get out of there safe, and by any means necessary, you want to get out of there safe. Unfortunately, also sometimes some of the brothers might be psychologically challenged, and you would like to think that the law enforcement would pick up on that and maybe not harm a psychologically challenged person. However, we're not seeing much evidence of this in some of these videos as part of circulating. So this happened in the States somewhere. I want to say it's California, but we do see it all over the world in different degrees. And we're going to observe what we're going to do. I think in order to stop, because obviously the George Floyd situation where, you know, riots happen, I think the police are going to try to minimize that. So they've came out very early and they've made a video. So what we're going to do, we're going to watch. I warn you that they'll show you obviously, you know, the incidents, whatever. But we're gonna start off. Maybe we're going to dedicate 20 minutes to this section. So we'll watch like a 7-minute video. Then, you know, we'll give our opinions. What I'm also going to do is, let me see what we can do. Oh, yeah, okay. Hold on. Oh, please. Why have I got this stuff? Here it is. Fantastic. Lobby. Voila. So I'm going to put the lobby link in there. Feel free to jump in. So if there's any questions, you can remember, if the rules of the show, you can jump in when the videos are playing and say pause if you want to say something. Give your opinion on anything to do constructive, you know, ways of improving the community and that kind of stuff. And we're going to start off first with watching unfortunate passing of the events that led up to the tragic passing of Keenan Darnell Anderson. So I've got this now. I've blackified it, made it black and white because the algorithm's sake. So I don't know if I'm allowed to use the police videos. Who knows? Never know. I don't see it anywhere, so I just had to blackify it, making it more branded. So that way you can say it's more part of our show rather than just taking someone's video. Let's have a sneak peek at that. And let's see what the officer in California had to say. Go!
Hello, my name is Captain Kelly Muniz, Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division of the Los Angeles Police Department. This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about an in-custody death that occurred in Pacific Division in the city of Los Angeles on January 3rd, 2023 at around 8:15 p.m. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The LAPD conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence.
All right.
We are still at the very early stages of this investigation, which can often take up to a year to complete.
So what they're doing there, as you see, they're buying themselves some time. They realize something's happened, and this is protocol, I guess. Give us time to try to, let them know that we're reviewing this, and whatever has or hasn't happened, it might take up to a year. So please don't riot and this kind of thing. Give us time. So
and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed.
Gives them enough time.
We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officers acted consistent with our policy.
Well, I think they welcome Brother Kel to the show. Welcome, brother.
How you doing, Brother Raven? How you doing?
Black Betterment. It's good to have you here. Are you aware of the Keenan Daniel Anderson case at all? Have you seen anything? It's his first time.
I'm not, brother. No, I'm not. If you could fill me in.
Yes. Oh no. Well, we've got it here. So basically, a brother has died in custody, and the officers have released this official video. This was maybe yesterday or the day before, I think, late. And I suspect it's done to obviously to try to minimize the outcome of what happened to George Floyd's situation. But obviously, when we look at the video, there's a lot of things we want to observe and see. We just want to observe it and have a case study, and we'll draw conclusions at the end. But this is them preparing to explain the situation and also to show what the footage they have, and then also they show other people's footage that's why it's very important that people film incidents, because when you film different angles, they have to then show all of it. If there's only one footage of the actual crime, then they have the ability to edit themselves. But if it's a public video, then they have to actually show all, which is very good. So let's play this, and then if you want me to pause it, just say pause, and then you can give your statement. Yeah.
No, my brother.
Cool. Let's go.
And the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you're about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. A West Traffic Division motor officer was flagged down for a traffic collision in the area of Venice Boulevard and Lincoln Boulevard. Several community members involved in the traffic collision directed the officer to a man who they indicated had caused the vehicle accident. The man was running in the middle of the street and exhibiting erratic behavior. That suspect was later identified as Keenan Darnell Anderson.
Just family, Keenan Darnell Anderson is also an English teacher who teaches young children who they're all devastated by this. So here's another teacher who's been murdered, or died in custody, I should say, at the moment. But yeah, so just keep that in mind.
The officer contacted Anderson, asked him to sit down, and requested the assistance of patrol units for a possible driving under the influence investigation. Here is the corresponding radio broadcast for this incident.
Mary 156, show me Code 6 on a TC not involved. We're going to be Venice, west of Lincoln. We got one possible DUI driver. Can I get additional units, please?
Anderson initially complied with the officer's direction and sat on the sidewalk for several minutes. However, as the additional officers arrived, Anderson suddenly attempted to flee the location by running into the middle of the street, westbound on Venice Boulevard. The officers gave chase and ordered Anderson to stop. Anderson ultimately stopped and was ordered to get on the ground. As the officers attempted to take Anderson into custody, he became increasingly agitated, uncooperative, and resisted the officers. The officers continued to struggle with Anderson for several minutes, utilizing physical force and a taser to help overcome his resistance, eventually taking him into custody. A taser is an electronic control device that is carried by nearly all patrol officers. It fires two metal probes.
Interesting there. They've shown a black man shooting a taser. Don't know if that's a little thing there, but the black man was shooting a taser. Interesting.
That are designed to cause neuromuscular incapacitation. A portion of this incident was captured on the officer's body-worn video. Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest level and capture a general perspective within line of sight from that angle. The angle of the camera prohibits viewers from seeing everything the officers saw and experienced.
All right.
Upon activation, both audio and video will turn on. However, body-worn video cameras have a buffer of video without audio from the previous 2 minutes prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that occur suddenly where an officer doesn't immediately activate the camera. Here is body-worn video from the officers involved in this incident.
All right. So now we're going to watch the chasing of brother Keenan as the police try to chase him, I guess.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Where are you at?
Those what the police officer on the bike at night.
The driver?
And I think he's shouting at the guy.
Get off to the side here.
He's seen the Keenan and he's arms to get to the side, and he's saying somebody's trying to kill me. That's what Keenan is saying.
Get on the street.
And he's correct. He's absolutely correct. He's correct on that one.
Hey, stop right there. Get up against
So they're telling him
the
to go
wall.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Get up against the wall.
Please, I didn't mean to.
Get up against the wall.
I didn't
Get
mean
up against the wall real quick.
to. Please.
Okay,
Please,
hold on
God.
a second.
Please,
Hold on
sir.
a
I didn't
second.
mean to, sir. Please.
Hold on,
Please.
okay?
Now, what I want the people to observe is his behavioral patterns. It doesn't seem, it seems a bit off, and that's what I keep saying. Like, I don't want to always cling to like mental challenges, or whatever. But sometimes when you see a person behave a certain way and their level of speaking, you've got to really kind of assess it. But I don't know yet. Let's keep listening.
I'm sorry.
Mary 156. Show me Code 6 on a TC not involved.
Please.
We're gonna be Venice, west of Lincoln.
Oh my
One
God.
possible DUI driver. I get additional units, please.
The car.
Okay, what happened?
I lost my key.
You lost your key?
Yes. I came and I had somebody fix my car for me, sir. Please, don't, please,
Okay,
sir.
do me a favor. Sit in
please.
here. Hey,
Sir, please.
sit down on your butt and sit with your legs crossed. Sit with your
They're
legs
gonna try to kill
crossed.
me, sir.
Sit with your legs
Please.
crossed.
They're gonna try to kill me.
Say they're gonna try to kill me.
Who's trying to kill you?
I had a stunt today.
What?
I had a stunt today, sir.
You
I
had
didn't mean to.
you had what?
A stunt. Like, no, that's a cost.
So clearly, I don't know what the brother is talking about, but clearly something is off, right? And this is the kind of thing you would expect police officers to pick on, right?
Okay, what car were you driving?
BMW.
The BMW.
They're gonna try to put stuff in my car.
Who's trying to put stuff in your car?
They're gonna try to.
Okay, so they've skipped 7 minutes, and they've said the answer attempted to run away, apparently.
Please.
Stay down for me. Hey,
Please.
hey, stay
Please.
here.
So they've cut. So why they chose to? That's nothing. Why they chose to cut those 7 minutes? What was said in there will be important, if anything at all. But he will start by saying someone's trying to kill him, and now 7 minutes to cut. Could be wrong. I'm just, just seeing what I say, saying what I see.
Stay here.
Sir, I need
Stay
some water.
here.
Can we get some water? Please.
Stay here. I'll get you some water here in a second, okay?
Please.
Just have a seat up against the wall there,
Yes, sir.
okay? Have a seat against the wall.
Sir.
Have a seat against the wall here.
Everybody gotta see me, sir.
Have a seat
I don't want
against
to
the
be in the
wall
black.
over here.
I want people to see me.
Sir,
He says he doesn't want. He wants people to see him because he suspects something might be up.
okay, you can sit
Please.
right there then. If you want to be seen,
I don't
sit
wanna
right
sit
there.
No, I don't want to sit right there.
Sit right
Please.
there if you want to have somebody see you.
Please.
Okay?
Please.
Just sit down for me a second here, okay?
Please, look, sir.
Sit down for me. Sit down.
You're putting a thing on me.
Sit down.
Making
I'm
me
not
hot.
putting anything. Come here.
Please.
Sit down over here.
Please.
I don't want you in the road. Come here. I don't want you in the road. Come here.
Please.
Come here.
Please.
Come here.
Please. Please.
Come here. Now! Get down over there! Turn over on your stomach right now!
Yes.
Turn over on your stomach right now! Turn over!
Yes.
Turn over!
Yes, sir.
Over on your stomach! Get over on your stomach!
Hold on. Okay, please, sir, please don't do this. Please don't do this, sir. Please, help me, please. You know what? Help me, please. No, please help me. Help me, please. Please.
Keenan, relax!
Keenan, relax. Help! They're trying to kill me. Let them be stop them, take you.
The following body worn video from another officer responded. So they send the camera now shifts to another officer.
Hold on. We already have a unit helping you guys out, right? So give us a second. We're going to try to set everything up so that way no one gets hit and there's no other vehicles.
I think the guy up there needs help though, because the guy's trying to run away. The guy who's driving this car.
Let's go get him.
For those joining, we're looking at a video that the police in America set a day ago. Brother Keenan Daniel Anderson died in custody. Funny enough, he's also a cousin, apparently, so they say, of the founder of the Black Lives Matter, the woman who had the big house. I don't know if there's any connection or anything like that, or I'm not saying anything, but apparently people have said this as well.
27 American Wall 56 coming.
Turn around.
Over on your stomach! Get over on your stomach!
Hold on.
Get down. Get down.
Please, sir, please don't do this. Please don't do this, sir. Please, help me, please. You know what? Help me, please. No, please help me. Help me, please. Please.
Turn around.
Please.
Keenan, relax!
So apologies, family. We're seeing this video. We haven't seen it properly, so this is them trying to, I guess, put Keenan in cuffs. So it might be short for some young people. The show is at 10 o'clock, but still it might be disturbing for some. So viewer discretion is advised.
Watch out.
Help! They're trying to kill me.
Hey, stop! I'm gonna tase you. Stop! I'm gonna tase you.
Milo's trying to kill me. I have stuff on YouTube.
Stop it! Or I'm gonna tase you.
Yes, sir.
Stop it! Or I'm gonna tase you.
Hey, please help me. Help!
Stop it! Or I'm gonna tase you. Stop it! Or I'm gonna tase you. I'm gonna tase you. Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Turn over. Turn over. I'm gonna tase you. Turn over. Or I'm gonna tase you. Turn over. I'm gonna tase you.
Yes.
Watch your elbow, partner.
You're trying to George Floyd me.
So you're trying to George Floyd me. So this is in the back of many brothers' minds when they get arrested.
You're trying to George
Stop
Floyd
it.
me.
Stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Okay, stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Stop resisting.
Please.
Stop resisting.
Please.
I'm gonna tase him. I'm gonna tase him.
They're trying to kill me. Give me low.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yes, sir.
Don't resist.
No.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Okay.
Stop it.
Help.
Stop
Help, please. Help.
it. Do not
I'm not
move.
resisting.
Do not move.
Okay.
If not, I'm gonna tase you again.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay. Help me. Okay.
Here, hold on. Stop it. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
The following is a body-worn video from another officer who responded to this incident. So right now, the tasing is the issue that's on the call. The excessive tasing apparently has caused the brother's heart to stop or something. Going to cardiac arrest. I'm not too sure, but let's carry this out.
Hold on.
Get
Okay,
down.
please.
Get down.
Please, sir. Please don't do this. Please don't do this, sir. Please. Help me, please! You know what? Help me, please! No, please help me! They're gonna kill me, please! Please!
Keenan, relax! Keenan, relax! Watch out.
Help! They're trying to kill me! There's a
Hey, stop him, I'll take you. Stop him, I'll take you.
Velo's trying to kill me! I have a stunt on YouTube!
Stop it, or I'll tase you.
Yes, sir!
Stop it, or I'll tase you.
Hey, please help me! Help! These are actors!
So already, he the things he's saying is something's up with his mind, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. And these are the things you have to be considered when you're trying to detain someone. But anyway, let's carry on listening.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Turn over. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Watch your elbow. Turn.
They're trying to George for me. They're trying to George for me.
Stop it, I'm gonna tase you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, stop it, I'm gonna tase you. Stop it, I'm gonna tase you. Stop resisting.
Please.
Stop resisting. Give me your arm.
Please.
I'm gonna tase you. I'm gonna tase you.
They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. Help! Help!
Stop it.
Yes. Okay.
Stop it.
Yes, sir.
Don't resist.
No.
Stop
Okay.
it. Stop resisting.
Okay.
Stop it.
Help!
Stop
Help,
it.
please. Help!
Do not move.
Get another cuff on. No, he's just.
Yeah, cuff. Do not move.
Okay.
If not, I'm gonna tase you again. Okay, I got one.
Help me. Okay.
Here, hold on. Stop it. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Quite a lot of tasing going on.
I'll put out. Got the fork. 1445. Sure.
Lilo did it. They think I killed Bank.
A portion of this incident was also captured by a witness on their cellular phone.
That's the phone of someone who passed by.
That guy right there, he caused that accident. He was trying to steal my car. Yeah, the police is doing the right job right now.
So I don't know who this person is, but they're accusing the teacher of trying to steal the car. As far as I'm aware, it was a car accident. Now they're saying to steal the car. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what this person said.
Don't think that the police is abusing him.
Don't think that the police are abusing him. He was trying to go away. So this is obviously controlled by the police, whatever it is, right? Well, this is the video they've chosen to use.
He was trying to go away.
I think that guy's in a very paranoid state.
I'm an Uber driver and he was trying to steal my car when he...
I'm an Uber driver and he's trying to steal my car while he hit the other car. So what he's saying is, there was a car accident and he tried to steal the Uber car. That's what the guy said.
I see the other cars right there.
Pick up Empress Crush Stick.
Was he in the car?
Huh? Yeah, he was in the BMW.
That's a taser.
Yeah, they're using the taser, right?
Now the
That's
boss
good,
is talking
man.
to you.
The fallen body worn by another officer responded to this incident.
Help! Help! Please.
Relax.
No, this is an act. This is an act.
So really, the brother's showing that something might not be right in his head. Don't know what has happened or hasn't happened. Don't know, if he has past conditions or he's been hit or he's taking something or he genuinely believes what he's saying. But once again, I would say when someone talks this way, you got to really be very cautious about, what this is.
They're not
Stop
police.
it.
Maybe they're not police. Who knows?
Help me.
Maybe he means they're race soldiers. He doesn't know. Who knows?
Climb up. Okay, no.
Moving up. Yeah, just by his knees.
They're trying to kill me.
He's correct in that statement. He said they're trying to kill him, and he's actually quite correct. That is the outcome that happened. So, yeah.
No.
Nobody's trying to kill you.
Oh, Pilo. 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 Pilo.
You guys good? Listen up. Good.
What's in the plug? You on the walk? This guy on the walk? I don't know, he's... Big fan of. Huh? You good? Off and on, off and on.
No, I myself, I haven't seen this far in the video, and as far as I was aware, I thought that he might have been passed out by Taze, but he seems to be conscious now, so I suspect he died after being removed from him. But let's keep watching. I don't know.
All right. I got him on the ground over there, just sitting on his own, and then he took off through the traffic. Right? I don't know.
They think I killed Pilo. They think I killed Pilo.
I don't know who CeeLo is, but once again, this is, this could be psychological challenges. Who knows?
All right. Help me! Please! Please!
Black man.
They're trying to sedate me. I know too much.
It's interesting when you hear these kind of quotes and then people pass away and people do start putting conclusions together.
Pilo! Please!
Can you slam the side or not?
Huh?
Can you put him aside or not?
Yeah, I'll put you on your side, man. Let me sit up. Sit up. They sedated me. They sedated me. Sit up. Sit right there. Sit it up. 1425 Yeah.
Approximately 1 minute later, Los Angeles Fire Department paramedics responded to the scene and rendered aid to Anderson for the taser deployment.
We'll assess him and start taking information, but we're not transporting. We gotta wait for him.
Approximately 5 minutes later, Los Angeles Fire Department paramedics transported Anderson to a local hospital.
Put your hands.
Did they actually sedate him? Because he's not making any sound. He doesn't seem to move.
You guys got here first?
Sorry.
While at the hospital and after approximately 4.5 hours following the use of force, Anderson experienced a medical emergency, did not respond to life-saving efforts by medical staff, and was pronounced deceased.
Very fast, that wasn't it? Very fast.
Any death of a person in the custody of the department is defined by policy as a categorical use of force. In accordance with that policy, LAPD's Force Investigation Division assumed investigative responsibility for this incident upon learning Anderson had been pronounced deceased. On January 5th, 2023, Los Angeles Police Department Forensic Science Division Toxicology Unit conducted a preliminary toxicology blood screen on 2 separate specimens of Keenan Anderson's blood collected from the hospital. The laboratory reports concluded that each of the specimens tested positive for cocaine metabolite and cannabinoids. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office.
What's cannabinoids? What's that? Is that cannabis? Am I just that? I don't know that. If you know what it is,
Yeah. Cannabinoid. Yeah.
Is that what they? Okay. So I don't know if cocaine and cannabis makes you behave that way, but I could be wrong.
Will be conducting their own independent toxicology testing. Keenan Darnell Anderson was a 31-year-old resident of Los Angeles. In the next several months, the LAPD will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing any new witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, our Critical Incident Review Division will forward their finding to the Chief of Police, who will make his recommendation to the Civilian Board of Police Commissioners. The board will evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's tactics and use of force in this instance met the high standards expected of all LAPD officers. If you would like more information on how the
I'll end it there then. So that's what it is. Interesting. Obviously it was a control piece by the police department over there. I mean, it's an interesting thing here because there has to be a method of how we can minimize deaths. But I guess if someone wants to kill you, they can. Now, there's extreme views there where people say things like, now I don't know if the cocaine and cannabinoids and this kind of stuff is true or not true, but or even out, or even alcohol. I don't think they said anything about alcohol, or whatever. But there are some people who say that uh, any kind of substance that makes you lose control or renders you somewhat helpless is to stay away from it in the system because it can be used against you if police want to arrest you. There's some people who practice that. Obviously, I mentioned before, needful is saying don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee, and the reason you do that is because it might heighten the chance of them trying to kill you. But at the same token, there is that saying that if a person is fearful that they're going to be killed, they're going to react that same way. So it is very tricky. Very tricky. Now we're waiting for it to come out about this particular case. As I said before, they said that apparently Brother Keenan is related to the lady one of the ladies who started the Black Lives Matter movement. I think I forgot the name. Shame on me, but she's the one I believe who has the investigation over the house. But yeah, there you go. So and anything to bring up, Brother Kyle, at all, or anyone in the forum? Anything? Anything?
Yeah, he definitely knows something, Brother Raven. They want to keep their hands clean.
Yes.
By demonizing the victim.
Yes.
And at the same time, making it look like that because he's under this substance. We tried to control him, and he's having neurosis attack. So we had to taser him. He knows something, man. It's one of the tactics. Yeah,
it is a tactic. And let's if I can go through what I observed. So obviously the first thing is making the video, which is a defense tactic. And so while I go through it, they show the cameras. They make edits. They make a 7-minute edit, and after the 7-minute edit, he runs. So we don't have that 7-minute cut. They have to show an external video of a person alleging that he tried to steal his Uber car. Mm-hmm. So essentially, that's the video they picked. They picked that, I guess, to try to paint a picture. And then obviously they said about the cannabinoids and the cocaine baloids and this kind of stuff, right? What they showed a very untrustworthy individual who was kicking and screaming. He said they're trying to drug me and sedate me. And then when they cut back, he's not moving in the wheelchair they tied him to. And then they said that 4 or 5 hours after he went to the hospital, pronounced dead in the hospital. So
he's saying that it's a stunt as well.
Yes,
and they do. White supremacy. They use everything's like a pantomime. If you can imagine a horror film, but a real life one where you're not coming back after the dead, but it's a pantomime horror film they do because it's almost as if like he was put into a role, and you have to act out this horror role, and at the end of it, we're going to kill you, and which is what happened. Because no one says it's a stunt. Please don't do George Floyd. This is going on. It was all like outlandish, to be honest with you. But now we understand the agenda, man. He knows something.
Yeah, it's and they're going to say as many things, and I don't know if the stuff they're saying is true, but I still state that I don't think people should be taking any kind of mind-changing substance. However, I would say one of the best reasons not to is it can be used against you if someone is trying to harm you in a power dynamic, you see. And I see it. There's the same pattern when George Floyd was murdered. They were bringing up a past of taking stuff and, he might have taken something in the past and this kind of thing. And it's a very consistent pattern. These are techniques people use to, I guess you could use dehumanize in the sense of, well, this person is participating in his own degradation and death is an option for him because he does these kind of things. So be very wary, even though you guys might want to party, drink, and this kind of stuff. If you're around about, these things can be used against you and will be used against you. So just be very cautious about the things you take. And I'm once going to go back to Needy Judy Fuller, which says don't fuss, don't flee, don't fight. the reasons are because, like I said, they'll try to push a campaign against you. So unfortunate there. Unfortunate. Any questions in the forum? I want to join in. Let us know. I haven't pinned the thing up, but the link should be there. There's not too many comments, so it should be at the top. Let me log in. So yeah, that's unfortunately the last thing. We'll keep you updated with the Keenan Daniel Anderson happened a day or so. Well, the 5th apparently. The cameras are coming back now. Yeah. So let's go back to the thing. Now I found that because we like to go. It's better us start negative than go positive because it just we can leave on the positive. Now we're going to remember brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And I said before, his born date is tomorrow. Oh, yesterday. Sorry, I keep making mistakes. It was yesterday. So we're going to just tackle him. We'll play 1 or 2 clips of him. One thing that if you want to observe he was very sharp and to the point. Very, very one of the most sharpest at that time. One thing you always have to remember when you listen to brothers like Khalid Muhammad historically, Farrakhan historically, and many others of a similar kind of methods is every show they went on, every magazine that was around was always demonized. Everything that they said would be used against them, and they were being constantly under attack. Every good gesture was flipped upside down. And another technique which you'll notice when the speaking happens in some of these shows is it's something that we should always use case studies for, is they'll always try to pit black people against black people through comments and this kind of stuff, right? So and this is why I keep saying that if you go publicly, you start name calling and this kind of stuff, they will use it as a wedge. Now, luckily, brothers like this, they're well aware of these tactics, right? But just keep an eye on how Brother Khalid controls narrative and also strikes back when he needs to. So we're going to play 1 or 2 videos and then we'll have to listen. So this is remembering Brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Let's go back.
I would have to ask you that.
Let's reverse. Let's go.
Blacks are the chosen race. What about white people? I would have to ask you that. What about white people? I'm asking. We're both human beings. Blood that runs through your veins is equally as red as the blood that runs through mine. Do you think you're in some way, shape, manner, or form superior to me? Of course. You are. So all black people are superior to white people? By God's own ordination, yes. Then why in our society, for example, is the black race or African Americans experiencing so many problems that they're experiencing? Well, you know the answer to that, and No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. The cynical tone in your voice doesn't erase the fact that you know. It's due to the wickedness of white America. White people all over the world, white people all over the world have gone into the house of black people, brown people, and red people, robbed them of a knowledge of self, taken their land over, renamed the land, colonized them, enslaved them, and put them under their yoke and way. So whites are in the superior position, no matter what the social, political, economic, or religious order, because of the wickedness and the underhandedness of the white man the world over. Sir, but not all white people are evil, wicked, or endorsing. Sir, I have never enslaved any human being. Let me finish my point now. I've never enslaved any black person in my life, nor would I endorse that or support that. I certainly look and view the slavery or the history of slavery in this country, for example, as evil, reprehensible, against the will of God in our society. Many white people fall slaves. Many people risk their lives.
So nothing else knows as well. You always get Europeans, white people, especially speaking against Black Betterment and Progress, to mention minorities of people who tried to end slavery, but they never talk about the actual slavery itself and the masses of what happened and the lack of reparations because of it. But they'll talk about the minorities who might have tried to campaign against it.
And they never talk about the destroying the cause as well. It's always the little bit, the fragments of what is happening, never the reality.
Yes.
As did Harriet Tubman during the Underground Railroad, to see to it that that evil was changed in our society, and I think that was a good thing. I think when you look at the marches of Martin Luther King, white, black together marched for equal justice in our society. Certainly, you're not going to impugn the whole race of white people, are you? What I am going to say after such a strong statement is that whenever there is any sign of what even appears to be righteousness and that which appears to be a spirit for justice and fair play and fair dealing, I am not one who would blanketly criticize that. If indeed that is your spirit and your personality, and if indeed you can point to many others who are that way, then certainly I would respect that.
Then why should I have respect for you if you don't equally respect me in that vein, if you look at yourself as far superior to me?
I am not one who would just look at myself far superior to you, but let me point this out to you. White people, you should be having this show with one of your own. White people teach that they are the father of medicine, the father of music, the father of history, the father of philosophy, the father of the sciences, the father of all of the disciplines of the world. I think that is a very ethnocentric and a very racist, white supremacist view. They teach us that angel food cake is white, devil's food cake is black. You wear white to weddings and you wear black to funerals. It's not good to lie, buddy, but if you must lie, it's all right if you tell a little white lie. If one is the black sheep of the family, blackball you, blackmail you. If I go to the pool room for a little game of pool, you got a white shiny ball on the table, knocking the hell out of the black ball, the brown ball, the red ball, and all of the balls of color. And the worst ball on the table is the black ball. If I go to church, you've got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pale-skinned, white Jesus, when the Bible says that Jesus is a man with nappy hair and black skin. So white supremacy runs throughout every phase of white society the world over. So my position on this show this morning is not to establish some grandiose and way out black supremacy, but to fight white supremacy and meet it head on.
And do you think most Americans, especially white America, is racist and against you to the degree that you're...
Of course, most white Americans.
What percentage would you say?
The United States government boasts about the fact that it is a government where where the majority rules and the minority has to go along with the majority.
So what degree of Americans...
So if you have an overwhelming majority of white folks who are so fair and good-hearted in America, why haven't your overwhelming majority of white folks stepped forward to do something about the wretched condition of black people here in America?
Oh, haven't we made some strides in terms of
turnabout?
No strides since 1960, none at all.
No, let me say why I mean that.
I would like you to explain that.
During Reconstruction here in America, there was a civil rights bill passed at that time. Black people held all kinds of political positions, and it looked like a period of political a turn after slavery for black people in this country. There was even a voters' rights bill, and all of that was passed. But when white folks got sick of that, they blocked the doors of Congress. They drove black people out of all the political positions. And so 100 years after that civil rights bill, another civil rights bill had to be formed and fashioned. Now we're debating and arguing with George Bush over the voters' rights bill. We already had one. That means it wasn't worth the paper that it was written on. Look at all the treaties that the white man signed with our brothers and sisters, the Red Indians. Treaties that would wrap around the globe and then some, and broke every treaty that he signed with the Indians. We can't trust that anymore. Can't trust it.
Let me ask you this. Why is it then that so many... Let me ask you a question. Why is it then that so many African Americans today are making it in an inclusive society? Why are they becoming successful? Why are they prospering if America were as racist as you're describing it today? I'm talking about mainstreams like Oprah Winfrey, the multitude of talented black African American athletes in our society, the talented African American business people in our society, the Colin Powells, the Arsenio Halls, and the list, the Bill Cosbys, the list goes on and on and on. Are these all Uncle Toms? Have these people sold out?
So you see this technique here, very important. You'll see in debates. He'll mention a minority of successful people, and he'll try to paint the picture that if these people are doing good, black people are doing good, and then he'll end it by saying, "Oh, are they Uncle Tom?" So it's trying to like bait the brother to make fun of other brothers and sisters. Please watch out for these techniques.
How would you describe and categorize these successful blacks in our society?
These are very God-gifted and very talented black people. But they are also, Mr. Hannity, exceptions to the rule. They do not reflect, nor do they represent the poor, suffering masses of black people.
Well, why aren't you there? Why aren't you there helping them instead of creating this animosity and hatred and race divisiveness?
We create no animosity and hatred.
It's not animosity. You're not creating animosity to white people listening to this program when you arrogantly step on your high horse and say that you're superior to whites?
I'm not concerned with what white people think about what I'm saying on your program, nor am I concerned about what you say and what you think. But let me point this out to you.
Yes, sir.
Over 20 years ago, President Lyndon Baines Johnson organized the Kerner Commission. And the Kerner Commission, this prestigious pristine presidential commission was to go out and study throughout America and determine the main problems in America dealing with the races. They came back with conclusive proof to the president and to the White House that the number one problem in America today is white racism. Mm-hmm. They said there are two major situations here. Two Americas, one black and one white, separate and unequal. 20 years later, today, the Kerner Commission has reconvened, and they say that the problems of yesterday are worse today than they were yesterday. Mm-hmm. It makes no difference that black people are mayors and that black people are public elected officials. The masses of black people are still catching hell, and if our condition is worse, in spite of all of these, what appears to be surface window dressing gains, then it really means nothing.
Oh, so these people are just flukes, just very talented people that have fit
Well,
through
I'm
the
not
cracks.
going to sit here and let some devil attempt to put me in a position
Oh, I'm a devil?
where I'm criticizing my own people.
Am I a devil?
You're attempting some devilishment on this program.
I'm
you
a
want
devil?
me to speak against my sister Oprah Winfrey. Mm-hmm. You want me to speak against
No, I don't
my
want you to speak
brother
against-
Bill Cosby.
No, sir,
You
sir.
think I'm some lightweight, so you want to push me in a corner to say something against them. That is the devil who would try that.
Oh, so I'm a devil.
You're acting like
I'm
one.
acting
Are
like
you
a devil.
one?
No, sir, I'm not a devil.
Well, don't act like
So
one,
I'm not
Mr.
acting like
Hannity.
one. No, sir, let me tell you. Let me tell you, sir, I admire the talents and abilities and the contributions of African Americans, wherever they might come from. See, my vision, sir, of America is far different than yours. As you see, I see this.
It should be.
But what I see, well, I don't think so. I think America is meant to be an inclusive nation where all people can prosper and be successful.
It didn't start out that way.
Well, if you let me finish my thoughts, I allow you to speak uninterrupted here.
Certainly, go right ahead.
What I'm trying to point out to you is that if America is going to be inclusive, if we're going to create this avenue or window of opportunity for all people, what I would like to see, instead of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or some of the racist bigotry that you're spewing on the program today, I would much prefer that we see black, white, decent, good, wholesome Americans that believe in values that are strong, family-oriented, that will keep this nation strong, going forward, working together, and becoming successful. You don't share that vision. You would much prefer the separatist vision.
Would you like for me to speak on what I do feel rather than you be my spokesman?
I'll tell you what, as soon as we
Are
come...
you my national assistant?
Would you like me to be?
No, sir.
Considering I'm a devil, you wouldn't want that to happen. We'll take a break.
I wouldn't want a devil as my national assistant.
I'm a devil. We'll come back. We'll talk more with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He's a national assistant to Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. And we'll open up the telephone lines this morning as well. If you'd like to be on the program from Huntsville, all of Madison County, 830-2277, 830-2277. Toll free this morning if you're on cellular 1 at star 770. And you can join us from Limestone, but to Louis Farrakhan.
In their hospital, we have fought for many years to be...
Khalid Abdul Muhammad joins us, national assistant to the, you don't like to call him Reverend, but to Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of
Minister
Islam.
Louis Farrakhan.
Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we're talking during the break that you find it interesting. What do you want for the Nation of Islam? You want a separate nation, is that right?
We want freedom and independence, however that can be achieved.
Mm-hmm.
If indeed white people are willing to go through the painful and painstaking process of mental and spiritual and moral and ethical change, then indeed we as black people, since we've been here in America, we have fought for many years to be included in the mainstream of white America. Now we have determined that as God's hand is stretched out of judgment against America, that we must do something for ourselves and we must build a nation of our own. That is not to say that it is to be a nation so separate until we want to rule over white people. We have no desire to rule white people. We want to express Kujichagulia, or self-determination, over our own destiny. If we have a hospital and white people are ill or need attention, they would be welcomed into our hospital and we wouldn't use them as guinea pigs the way they use us in their hospitals today. If you need a loan and you're qualified and you came to the black bank, we wouldn't redline the districts the way you've done against us. If in our political structure, we wouldn't set up gerrymandering and all of the redistricting.
For those joining, we're honoring and remembering Khalid Abdul Muhammad. His born day was yesterday, and we're just looking at interactions that he had in the public while he was here, and admiring his amazing orator skills and debating techniques, and how he controlled the narrative when anti-black or suspected anti-black people were trying to undermine himself and black movements. and how he controlled the situations. And we're also looking at the consistency of how this happened and how that will have flavored his image at the time and how he persevered. It was very good. So this is a bit more than we look at one other video. Anything you want to say, brother Khalid? Let us know. We'll stop the video.
No, bro. I'm
cool. And the one thing I'm going to say is, funny enough, I would say that I think for me personally, because I think seeing brother Khalid, I think I would have seen him in the 90s, younger, and I think that the seeing on talk shows and certain kind of shows and VHSs was and I know a lot of the hip hop guys like the Ice Cubes and who else was it?
Public Enemy.
Yes. Yes.
Professor and
Professor Griff.
Yes. Oh, I forgot his name. Running from your life. Can't remember his name. Flavor. That's
Flavor. Yeah, the Public Enemy crew. A lot of them would have had him in records and video stuff for this, and quotes from him would be on some of the interludes and stuff. So yeah, no, I think definitely the guy, the brother there kept things, I guess it was part of the contributing factor that kept me focused on moving towards black empowerment, this kind of stuff.
What's very interesting as well, Raven, is that you've got two men here who have definitely controlled and used tactics of dopamines, of not allowing validation to go against the best interests of their race. And you know, I appreciate you putting this on, because this will this needs to be told and explained to black people that it doesn't matter if the idea is outlandish or ridiculous or even bizarre, that the Europeans will have a mindset of making it real and making that a realism to the public. You know, he's the guy's mindset, you know, his political science is that, you know, I don't care if you don't believe in it. We believe in it. As long as we believe in it, then it's true to us.
Yeah.
And we have to understand, because a lot of us will say, well, you know what, we have to change the narrative. But if we're going to change the narrative, you cannot seek approval of non-African people in regards to the narrative. If you want to make something true, right, by making your dopamines rely on that to get the validation, you cannot be contradiction and saying to yourself, well, you know what, even I've changed the narrative, but will other people agree with me? That both of them have controlled their dopamines and both believe race first.
Yes. Yeah, it's a chess game. It is a chess game we're seeing. Yes. Let's carry on listening for a bit. And what I was going to say as well is, I do recommend at some point whenever you're trying to, I guess, give brown citizens the information or a tool to get their mind more synchronized and this kind of thing. I definitely early tapes of Khalid was definitely recommended. And one that I'm going to play next is probably a famous one. Is when he went onto the Donahue show, which we probably played before, but it was very powerful piece there. But we'll play in a bit. Let's listen to a bit more of this.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Very powerful piece.
Our system, we would have fairness. We could never treat white people the way they treated us, because God just didn't make us that way. He just didn't give us that kind of heart.
Let me ask you a question. If I were to say all blacks were drug addicts because of the actions of the few, would you find that offensive? Because there are black drug addicts in our society.
I don't find anything offensive that white people say.
Okay, but
if it's true, it would be all right with me.
Okay, let's say a black person said that. Would you find that offensive?
No, sir. If a black person said that, I would know that they have been robbed of a knowledge of self. They've been brainwashed by your people, and we would take the time and the love and give some care and sensitivity to the situation to try to open their eyes.
Well, the point I'm trying to get to here is that the bottom line is the way you talk about white people, you put them all in this one category as if they're all racist, they're all against black people. You're imputing the character of the white race.
I believe that there are some white people who do good.
You do?
I believe that I don't know if they are good, but I do know that there are some white people who do good. But let me say this, you've got to understand the sensitive nature of this. When white people came to America, they didn't just come in showing open hatred for the Indian and just killing Indians and mowing them down. They came in smiling at them, winking at them. They pretended that there was loving, caring, and sharing. The Indians taught them agriculture, taught them of their customs and ways. They even intermarried. But as soon as the Indian dropped his guard and the white man learned the ways of the Indian, they destroyed the Indians in a mass genocide plot. Now the original owner of this nation is selling moccasins and blankets on a reservation because they trusted the white man. When the white man came to Africa, he didn't just come in killing black people and showing open, bitter hatred. He came in as a friend and a sincere advisor. He came in and we rolled out the carpet for him. We gave him the best of our society and our world, and now we are held captive as slaves inside of America.
So the blacks and the Indians and the minorities in our society of angels of light and the wicked white people have always decimated any other race besides themselves. That's what you're saying?
I told you, if you're not my national assistant, you're certainly my Huntsville spokesman.
I'm your Huntsville spokesman.
I couldn't have said it any better than that, Sean.
That's your viewpoint on that.
That's your viewpoint, and I like it.
You like that?
I like it.
It's not my viewpoint, though, because what I hear in you is somebody who's extremely racist, biased, and bigoted. And you know
I'm not extremely racist, biased, and bigoted.
Well, you are racist.
You cannot compare me with the Klan.
I certainly could.
Absolutely. No one has ever enslaved the Ku Klux Klan or David Duke or the skinheads. No one has ever robbed them of their name, their language, their religion, their culture, God. No one has done anything to them.
Let me ask you a question. How long are you going to stay in the past? How long are you going to stay in the past? When are you going to move forward?
In the present. I just gave you the report from the Kerner Commission. We also have here the National Urban League, State of Black America. Jet Magazine just did a study that was done across the nation after 28 years, how much of Dr. King's dream has come true, and studies are being done all over. But if you're sitting here in a one room in Huntsville, Alabama, sitting behind a microphone being cynical and racist and bigoted every day, then you don't know what reports are out there in the world.
You're saying
I'm in another city almost every day.
What city are you in? Oh, you travel around the country every day?
All over, but I'm from New York.
You're from New York, that's where I'm from. But the bottom line is, I want to ask you this. Why is it then that some African Americans are making it in our society? They're very talented, they're making contributions. Why do you impugn the character of them? Why not talk about the opportunity? I have never impugned the character
of them. That's your devilish way to attempt to say that that's
my
what
devilish way.
That's what it is.
So this is incredible. Let me ask you this. What do you think is going to be the future of race relations in this country? You think we're going to have race wars? And are you going to
see he's asking questions, but then throwing answers in there and answers that could, a very problematic answers that he throws in there. These are the strategies that the interviewer Hannity, one of the names, he's doing.
Be at the heart of it?
Oh, what kind of silly little childish question is that?
I'm asking, if you think whites are the devil and they've done all these terrible things to you, why don't you go to war against the white people?
I believe that there are some whites, I don't know how good their heart is, but I do know that there are some whites who do good.
Do you think that whites can get to heaven?
Some whites. I know that let me finish my point. I know that there are some whites who are standing up against their own people for the injustices that have been perpetrated against black people and dark people throughout the earth. But I can't trust them the way the Indians trusted them, the way my forebears trusted them in Africa. Even if I closed my eyes, I could never close both eyes. I'd have to always keep one eye open.
Let me tell you something, sir, because I am an Irish American. My grandparents came here from Ireland in the early part of this century at a time when in Boston and New York and in Philadelphia it said outside of almost every shop, Irish Catholic need not apply. Within my family history, there is a large degree of racism and hatred and bigotedness that my family had to go through.
That's white on white crime.
Okay, and there's plenty of black on black crime in our inner cities today.
Nothing to compare with the millions that white people have killed in their major wars.
And you are blinding yourself to the truth, sir.
The white mass murderers, the white serial killers, and the gays and
black selling each other, black selling other blacks drugs and shooting each other's and drive-by shootings and Crips and Bloods.
Robbed of a knowledge of self by white people.
Oh, blaming white people for their problems. Blaming white people for their problems.
When you take a people and completely destroy them, what else do you expect? Nobody ever destroyed you, but you murder millions of people and drop bombs.
I've never hurt anybody, sir. I've never dropped a bomb on anybody, sir.
You're trying to drop bombs on this radio.
Sir, I'm not trying to drop bombs. You're just
too light.
You're a bombastic little statement of devil.
Come on out with it.
What's the matter? You got a problem? You're getting upset? You want to calm down a minute?
Come on out with it. You're just stumbling and fumbling.
I'm not. You're an ignorant fool.
We are ignorant fools, if I'm one, because you are certainly complimenting me.
But I
came in the spirit that you're giving me. I attempted to talk to you in the hall. To get you to turn this volume down. To let you know what my true spirit is But I said, you continue to conduct yourself as a devil. And I said to you, as long as you do that, that's what you'll get from me.
Let's go.
Now, if you want a more intelligent conversation and exchange, I will give you that.
I'll tell you,
But you must show it.
Why don't you talk to the caller?
You know what, Brother Raven? You
What's
know
up,
what's amazing as well is that the way how their code of conduct, one of the blueprint is based upon getting the validation to secure their dopamines. And if it's not secured, then they use vulnerability to make you feel bad in order to get that dopamine validation. That would definitely work on an unsynchronized African. But because it's not working on a synchronized African, they seem to be using the vulnerability tactic, using the weakness to make him automatically say, well, it's not all of yours. Also, the way how they try to get out of him not generalizing is another tactic they always use. You know, that as long as you can individualize instead of generalizing, they feel more comfortable. The moment you generalize, that is where they have to work a lot more harder. And I said this before, we do need to generalize all non-African people, because if you don't, then it's very confusing. But big up to the late ancestor Khalid Abdul Muhammad, amazing political scientist, man.
Yeah, good points there. Good points there. And you notice a technique where he was trying to condemn the sharpness of Khalid, and Khalid says, I'm tackling you with the same energy you're giving me. If you want a different energy, give me a different energy. Very good technique there. Please learn that one, family. You know, they will debate anti-black racists, and they'll come with you at 100 insults and 100 derogative stuff, and then when you return like for like, then it's you what are you doing? So you go, well, I'm giving the same energy you gave me. If you want intellectual energy, let's have an intellectual conversation. So very good. We'll listen to a bit more of this, and then we'll jump to something.
Sean is a devil. I will, but I said that Sean is acting like a devil on the program, but he is one.
The whiter.
Sean is a devil. He just said I'm a devil. You think I'm a devil, Todd?
I don't think so. But listen.
I mean, look, if I'm the devil, or if I'm the epitome of evil, so you should...
I don't believe you're the epitome of evil.
I'm just
You're a lightweight devil.
I'm a lightweight devil. I'm a lightweight evil devil here, so...
Interracial marriage, sir.
No, sir.
Are you against that, Todd? Do you believe interracial marriage is wrong morally?
Well, I don't think it's wrong.
Let me ask you, what do you think about what Khalid Abdul Muhammad is saying on the program today? Do you find it offensive? Do you find it shocking? Do you think he's going to be at the forefront of a major racial war? Are you going to...
So once again, he's talking to someone on the phone, a white guy, I assume, and he's asking, "What do you think of Khalid?" And he lists a whole lot of negative traits to assign to try to direct their caller to agree with these kind of terms. Interesting.
Do you think he's going to be at the forefront of a racial war in our society? What do you think about the hatred that he's spewing?
I'm spewing love for my people.
But
I'm not necessarily anti-white. I'm pro-black.
Hatred towards the black race.
I'm against anyone who's against us, sir.
I'm not against you. I would like to see you being included.
Why don't you conduct yourself much better?
Sir, why don't you stop calling me a devil and evil and all these things? I think we'll get along
that way. I will stop calling
you. Sir, by
you.
your definition, it's a devil, sir. I don't go around calling you a devil. I've treated you respectfully on the program.
Of course you have not.
That's a lie. Todd, what do you think? Do you think this type of hatred, do you think that's going to create animosity between the races? What do you think about African Americans?
Todd, have you heard hatred? That's the question.
Todd, have you heard hatred?
Did you hear me say that we don't want to rule over white people? We just want to rule ourselves.
Did you hear him call white people evil?
I called you evil.
You also called white people and impugn the whole
you're
white
a representative of the white race today.
And every white...
And a poor one at that.
Every white person is a representative of the white race, and according to you, they're all racist.
All are representatives, and some attempt to conduct themselves much better than you are today.
What do you think about that, Todd?
Well, I tell you, he says that the black race is superior and intellectually, superior to suppress. I really don't believe that.
Who's superior, Todd?
I don't think either one are superior.
Nothing is equal in the universe, Todd.
So he thinks blacks are superior to whites. Do you believe that?
We're the father and mother of civilization. We're the father and mother of music and science and law and government and mathematics and morality and ethics. We're the father and mother of the disciplines of the earth, but now the history books and the textbooks all a lie that the white man has put out there.
So what you're saying is that black people are just oppressed and
lied on.
If you relieve the oppression, then they'll rise above.
Well, the white man doesn't have to relieve the oppression. We're not asking him to do that. God is going to take the oppression and bondage and the yoke of bondage that the white man has placed on us off of us. We don't want to give him that much power that we have to sit around and wait for the white man to remove the oppression from us.
Todd, thanks so much for the call. We appreciate Abdul Muhammad as we talk with this lightweight.
All right, we'll leave it there. Big up everyone. We're remembering our brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad. His born day was yesterday. And we're looking through some of his videos, just letting us case studies and letting us see how to control the narrative, how to be synchronized, and how to be one black first in your agenda, and how beneficial it can be. And I haven't seen one non-black person debate Khalid yet and get the better of him. We do see a regular theme every time he debates non-black people, and that is they try to paint a picture and scapegoat and create negative angles and try to consistently. But the brother, like brother Carl was saying, very synchronized brother, these things don't really phase him. Where's the other one? Is this one? So we're gonna look at another video now. This is from the Donahue show. Now, this video we're watching that goes for quite a long time. I think it does, yeah. So we'll cut it there. And if you want to see more of it, go type in Khalid Abdul Muhammad versus Hannity, and you'll hopefully come across that in Google or something like this. This one now is Khalid Abdul in the Donahue show. Donahue show was quite interesting because it was one of the few shows from America on a mainstream level that actually had quite prominent black speakers, because there was like a massive banning of black speakers throughout the 2000s and 10s and stuff. They would have had Donahue he had Sister Soldier one time, he had Khalid Abdul one time, twice he had Farrakhan, and he also had ISIS, Francis Chris Wilson,
Huey Newton, Dr. Phil Valentine's.
Yeah, Valentine. I haven't seen that one. I have not seen that one.
Oh yeah,
I have not seen that one. Wow. Yeah, and he had a few others as well. But yeah, this is definitely check out his show. I think they say he was the first. I think he might have been the first person to do the format that they talk shows. I think they obviously that was a format that Sister Oprah perfected and mastered. But before she was allowed to have her own show, he had his show, and apparently he was at the format that everyone followed. So we're gonna listen to a little bit of that. So we can see the consistency in the crowd, in the questioning, and the demeanor of the brothers and sisters. I recommend this video. You play it to every young person, 14, 15, around that age, just to hear black people talk powerfully and consistently. Unfortunately, when you see many black people today, we've been psychologically trained to be somewhat subservient and kind of undermine things that work in our own best interest. I should really document some of my Instagram algorithms and stuff, because I think every time I look, I always get messages, but I think I'm probably talking to a person who was questioning if something I said was racist, and it was about having a black economic base. So that's where some people are, where even trying to have is deep as racist, you see. So there's much work we have to do, and it comes from having media stuff and having media stuff and institutions, and also I haven't had time to do it yet, but I might be talking about it afterwards. I'm thinking of a rebranding. It's going to sound very odd when I say this now. I'll say it afterwards, but I'm going to think of a rebranding of an idea that might be a good idea, but we'll talk about it in a bit. But for now, let's watch brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Let's go.
Have a seat. Thank you. How are you? How are you? This is Khalid Muhammad, former national representative of Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. Mr. Muhammad is the man who made so many of the front pages of America's newspapers with a speech at Kane College, which so many people called anti-Semitic and a lot of things. At the very least, racist. You remember the comment? He picked up the Pope's dress, and let's see what's under that dress.
Something appeals to one as well is a lot of these brothers, especially at this time, I think brother would have been maybe in the New Black Panther Party, but brothers from the New Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam, and many other surrounding similar kind of movements and ideologies. They always, when they went these shows, they would introduce them with harsh words or alleged harsh words they said towards people groups. They never introduced them with the dedicated work they did in reforming people from drugs or getting people cleaned up, feeding the poor, and this kind of stuff, right? And that's very important to remember that this is how they frame things. And sometimes we get used to the framing to the point where if I was to talk about Malcolm X to start maybe an unsynchronized brother sister, they'll have negative terms about him. And I think one guy even said that, the Malcolm X approach was the violent approach. So it's like really how they would turn harsh, stern words into forms of violence. So this is the branding that you have to be very aware of.
Also, Brother Raven, a lot of non-African people, they're very aware of this, but when they are practicing the unethical code of conduct, they really believe, well, they try to make the us Africans believe that they don't believe that they are superior to us, but their actions and what they do and say tells you that they believe that they are superior and we're underneath. Especially with this guy here, is that you can set a paradigm, as you know, brother, by putting certain words of trickery to trigger the mind control of the massive, to keep their chemical or their dopamines to be fixated. Like, for example, going under the cloth, you know that quote in the Bible where like I can't remember how it goes, but basically it's when you want to reveal the reality of someone. You know what I mean? And the way we did that there to imply that, okay, there's something weird with this speaker by going under the garment of someone, so don't take him seriously, you know. And we have to always be aware of these trickery words and not react and also counteract, because very important, man, the way they set the paradigm straight away.
No, very true. And this is why you have experts like Brother Khalid who these things don't work on. And what you will notice by Brother Khalid, as he controls the narrative, is he'll set a path that, well, brother, if you keep repeating that, there's obviously something wrong with you. You see, not me, because we've explained that. That's what that means. It's a very good way, but let's have a listen to Brother Khalid now. Let's start there. Let's go back a bit. So they've introduced, and now you have a mass white people laughing at this. Let's go back. Hold on.
Right.
So this is the codified behavior. You see, this is codified behavior. Let's stop it.
Here's what you said about Colin Ferguson, the man who shot a Jamaican.
Have I gone back? Oh,
a lot of things. At the very least, racist. You remember the comment? He picked up the Pope's dress, and let's see what's under that dress. Here's what you said about Colin Ferguson, the man who shot a Jamaican black male who shot 6 people on the Long Island train.
So a lot of things, Jamaican, African, black male. So he's making sure he's getting the whole spectrum in, the whole spectrum.
Mr. Muhammad speaks.
Where they set black inmates up in these jails and penitentiaries, and in particular there in Nassau County, and pulled all the black officers out and the black inmates so they could jump on Brother Colin Ferguson, because they were mad with him for catching the Long Island train and killing all them white folks. I love Colin Ferguson. I have no official position, so I can say I love him.
You love a man who randomly killed 6 people on a commuter train?
I love Colin Ferguson just as much as the masses of white Americans love General Schwarzkopf, General Westmoreland, General Patton, General MacArthur and Eisenhower. America awards her killers, and they get ribbons and stripes and bars. I'm sensitive to the pain and suffering of the loss of life on that train, but I'm one of the rebellious slaves. And so when black people stand up out of pain and suffering and frustration, I understand after 500 years.
You also, you talk about the response of some African Americans to, for example, the book which attempts to prove that the Jews are involved in the slave trade. I'd be happy to let them see that. You talk about when white folks can't defeat you, you said in your speech at Kane, they'll always find some Negro, some boot-licking, butt-licking, buck-dancing, bamboozle, half-baked, half-fried, sissified, punkified, pasteurized, homogenized nigger that they can trot out in front of you. I would ask you, Mr. Muhammad, is Jesse Jackson a boot-licking...
Remember what we said about the last, the Hannity one, where once again they'll create this negative narrative, a so-called negative, and then they'll tie it to you, and then and in the conversation ask you this direct question to cause confusion, and division. And this is right. Also whenever a European, there's a lot of stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Whenever they're reading quotes and they're using the N-word, and notice how they desperately try to use it, and notice how easily it rolls off the tongue. Very, very important thing to aware there.
Homogenized nigger.
To the best of his ability, I believe he tries every day to do that.
Here you are mocking Jesse Jackson at a speech. I believe this is Howard University. Roll the tape.
Oh, boot-licking, buck-dancing, scratching, shuffling, messy Jesse Jackson. You keep. I am a somebody. I am a somebody. Keep hope alive. I am a somebody. I don't rightly know who the hell I am, but I am
somebody. Yeah. Are you an entertainer, or are you a committed person to black people?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I believe that the liberation and salvation of the black nation must be brought about by black people gaining a thorough knowledge of self after our 500 to 6,000 year Holocaust, where we have lost over 600 million. And so I believe that that education process must be a process of two steps: inspiration and information. So I seriously give information, but black people are a people of rhythm and spirit, so I also give inspiration.
From your speech at Kane College in 1960, Chief Luthuli, the head of the ANC, received a Nobel Peace Prize, you reported to your audience, reminded them, for nonviolent struggle. Yes. Just like Mandela just received it with F.W. de Klerk. How could you stand with your oppressor and your enemy and receive the Nobel Prize for nonviolent struggle? You have, you do not support, then, Nelson Mandela's strategy in the struggle to free black people in South Africa?
Let us first of all be very clear here, Phil. Nelson Mandela is my brother.
So is Jesse
He is a member
Jackson.
of the family, and so is Jesse, and Jesse is a very brilliant man. We just want him to return home and stop being used by the enemy and the oppressor.
That's the strategy there to cause division. The brother just put it back in, compliment, just said there's some things you disagree with. He's still a brother.
Against his people. Now back to Brother Nelson Mandela. And certainly we can never mention Nelson without mentioning Winnie Mandela. But Nelson Mandela's attempt at a multiracial government in South Africa after the murder of men, women, children, and babies, and the rape of South Africa, a criminal settler colony that has been established like Israel there in that part of the world. I cannot go along with one man, one vote. Let me say why. If someone broke into your home, Mr. Donahue, and actually bomb rushed your home, and black boots stomped your door down, and came in and robbed and raped everyone in the household, and was able to take the wealth of your home and parlay it into an empire. This is an invader. This is an intruder. This is a murderer. This is a burglar. This is a criminal. So you have no responsibility to share your home with them after they broke in and committed the crimes that they did.
You want, you said about South Africa, we give him, that is to say white people, 24 hours to get out of town by sundown. That's all. If he won't get out of town by sundown, we'll kill every white that ain't right that's in sight in South Africa. We kill the women, we kill the children, we kill the babies, we kill the blind, we kill the cripple, we kill them all. We kill the faggot, we kill the lesbian, we kill them all. You say, why kill the babies in South Africa? Because they're going to grow up and oppress our babies, so we kill the babies. Are you seriously presenting yourself as a man interested in the future of your people with this kind of rhetoric?
I'm just as interested in the freedom of my people as I am in the self-determination or the Kujichagulia, self-development, them being self-defining, self-respecting, and self-defending. If the white man has killed millions of our people, and you cannot deny the undeniable and indisputable and irrefutable truth, fact, proof, and history of their bloodshed there in South Africa. I said it would be merciful if they would leave. I don't agree with a government, a sham government. No man walks out of prison after 27 years and becomes the president unless there's a script and a plan behind the scenes to remove the economic sanctions from whites in South Africa, but no real plan for redistribution of the wealth. The Oppenheimers, the De Beers, and others there sucking the blood of our people. So I said, be merciful. Give them a period of time.
24 hours.
Truman gave the Japanese a period of time, but when they didn't comply, he dropped the bomb on men, women, children, and babies.
That was a very good comment. Very good comment. You can learn a lot from watching Khalid. Very good point there.
I make no apology for that statement. I believe that the invasion of South Africa was an act of unprovoked war. One nation against another nation. And nations must fight for the self-determination. They had no business there, Mr. Donahue.
Yes. Would you like to see Aristide return to Haiti to his rightful, duly elected position as president?
From what I have learned and studied of President Aristide, from what I can see and those I've been privileged to talk to who are close to him, he appears to be a very sincere man. He appears to be a man who really loves our people there and wants to see our people breathe free and correct the problems that colonialism and other disruptions is very definitely at the root of. However, Phil, I do not want to see my beloved brother, President Aristide, returned to Haiti by the power of a Bill Clinton. Because if Bill Clinton can help to return him there, he will always attempt to be the puppeteer who will pull the strings and try to dictate to my brother how he should carry out the affairs of government there.
Your comments appear to bespeak a political position in which you have no interest at all in reaching out and hoping and working for a multiracial community of harmony and peace. Am I correct in saying you have forsaken that ideal?
My arms are tired, Phil. We've reached out for 500 years.
Too late now.
We've faced tanks We faced water hoses and cattle prods. Vicious dogs bit the breast of black women off in those protest marches of the civil rights movement. Vicious four-legged dogs sicked on us by two-legged dogs, bit into the groin and the private parts of black men, women, and children. So, Mr. Donahue, I believe that the white man is absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace, and that no one has been able to get along with him nowhere on the face 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth.
And so you will continue this rhetoric. You will continue
and action.
And action. Action. What kind of action? Strategy to affect what in the United States of America? Let's start with us.
No wise general sits with a representative of the opposition to discuss battle strategy and battle plans before the entire world. I don't think that would be wise. But the mission of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the mission of my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, whom I love very much, and I want to be in that number when he takes 1 million black men to Washington, D.C. to call for reparations and justice. Their work is a work of liberation and salvation. Their work is a work to raise the mentally and spiritually dead black man and woman after we have been robbed of our names, our language, our religion, our culture, our God, our folkways, mores, and robbed of a power, the power of our own being.
Lift up the Pope's skirt to see what's under there. This is high school stuff. Words like faggot. It's an immature sort of failure to really get out of the old Beavis Butthead kind of environment. Certainly you can't be proud of this kind of language that you use.
Well, if it is high school, then the Bible, listen for a second, the Bible speaks of lifting up the skirts of the garment. Oh, I'm surprised that you feel. It's a metaphor. It's symbolic language. I'm not at all interested in what is under the Pope's clothes. I'm not into that. It's a metaphor.
Let's see what's under there. Let's see what's under there, you said.
But it is a metaphor to say, let us expose the Pope, according to H. Shelton Smith, President Emeritus of Duke University, in his book entitled, In His Image, quote, the Catholic Church and the Pope were directly involved in the institution of slavery. They financed slavery and gave the okay that it was good business to sell Africans. Lift up the skirts of his garment so that we can see the shame and reveal what has been hidden. But it has nothing to do with sexuality whatsoever.
Well, what do you suspect has been hidden?
I believe that it has been perpetrated before the world. And why would we want to lift up his skirt to discover what it might be? Well, we're saying lift up the skirt again. I don't believe you're missing what I'm saying. Lifting up the skirt again, as the scripture says, raising the skirts of the garment. I'll say it once more for you, and only once more. Has to do with revealing the history, the hidden history. When you lift up someone's garments, then you show their shame. You show up their private parts, that which they normally hide from the rest of the world. I'm not dealing with organs under the garment. I'm dealing with the organ of slavery and those parts that have been kept private from the masses of the people.
We are in New York City with Khalid Muhammad. We'll be back in just a moment. Here is just one of the comments that provoked the Anti-Defamation League to take out a full-page ad in the New York Times and other newspapers. What the ADL did essentially was publish in the New York...
So we'll pause it there. Matter of fact, before we go, what we'll do is we'll try to get the questions from the people, because that's, there we go. That's also a good thing to study as well. So this is the question for the audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, my thing is, if what he's saying is not true, let's bring somebody forward to prove him to be a liar.
Briefly, please. Muhammad, can you please tell me why it's blacks who are killing?
What happened there?
in Rwanda and other places? And can you please tell me why from Haiti, blacks from Haiti are just risking their lives to come here to the United States of America?
I'll tell you if I get a chance. Black people have been robbed, as I said earlier, of a knowledge of self. And when you rob people, sir, of a knowledge of self, then it means that they start to take on the characteristics and the nature of their oppressor and their colonizer. And his mind, by automatic, systematic, remote control, rules in our people. He gives them the guns and the weapons and the drugs and the alcohol, the way you did our brothers, the red man and the red one, brothers and sisters, the way you did our Latino brothers and sisters, and then you pit one against the other and say, look at what these people are doing.
Yes.
Adolf Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust.
May I have your attention, please?
Adolf Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust on 11 million people that died, 6 million of which were Jews, 5 million were others. Am I to understand that you would very much support his way of doing things, and him for that matter?
Sir, this is not reverse racism nor discrimination that you could tie into your statement on Hitler. If the slave master is whipping the slave and blood is running down the slave's back, and that's incidentally where the term cracker comes from the cracker man who was had the crack of the whip on the slave's back. But if the slave takes the slave master's whip from him and starts whipping the slave master with his own whip, that is not reverse racism, that is not reverse discrimination, that is the slave getting out from under the yoke of bondage and oppression. I don't advocate what Hitler has done before the world. Hitler's struggle. I went to the Holocaust Memorial Museum and I tried to separate Hitler as a freak of nature from the rest of white people. But after all that we have gone through, I know that there's a little bit of Hitler in all white people and a lot of Hitler in
And we'll be back in just a moment.
We'll pause it there. So we're looking at brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad and how his ability was to his great speaking ability to capture the negative narratives that many of the interviews were trying to force on him, and how he would take it, send it back to them, and give them what they gave him, but still very dignified, very powerful. Definitely recommend you play a lot of his videos to young men. You know, if you got sons, nephews, cousins, especially if you're trying to get them to be more B1 focused, black first focused. Definitely a brother who motivated a lot of young black men in the old days that, or back in the days, I should say. But like I said, a lot of the hip hop guys would put him on interludes to have him speak because very motivational stuff. But this is what it kind of looks like to be unapologetic. You know, to have a purpose and stay quite dedicated to it. So we're remembering brother whose born day was yesterday. There you go. Now, family, the link is in there. We've got 20 minutes left. We might end early, or it depends on what we got. But I'll recap. Let's go back. So we started the show by looking at, unfortunately, the unfortunate passing or murdering, I should say, of a brother called. Let me get it right. It's free. Hold on, 17 seconds now. So the brother was Keenan Darnell Anderson. This happened yesterday. Apparently, the brother might be related to one of the Black Lives Matter women, and he was tasered by the LAPD repeatedly, and he was quite erratic. But when the cameras cut, he then was quite docile. He said they're trying to sedate me. They never mentioned in the video that he was sedated. Well, at least I don't remember hearing that. And then they tied him into a wheelchair, and then apparently 4 hours later he died. So we're trying to work out what happened to him. But they said they need up to a year to do the research, apparently, or give them a year. So we're just and the question we're asking is, how should black men act if they suspect a black officer wants to harm them? And we were saying things like remembering what Neely Fuller Jr. said about don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. We have to remember sometimes if you suspect that you might be harmed, that actually might make you do one of those because you feel no matter what's going to harm. And the more of these videos you see, the more it's going to do that. Some people say use the philosophy of remember you might be behind enemy lines in the war, and if you are, you definitely don't want to motivate anything from your captors to harm you. So you don't want to tackle their egos. You don't want to question their intelligence. You don't want to belittle them. You definitely don't want to fight them or resist anything because it might heighten the chance of you being harmed. Also, there's a philosophy saying maybe drinking, smoking of any kind should be definitely eradicated because these things could be used against you. And when we watched the video, no doubt they said that apparently he had cannabinoids, as I've discovered is cannabis, and there's some say maybe some trace of cocaine. But these things will be used against you. Also, alcohol, they'll use that against you. So think about these things before you indulge. If you're going to be in public, this can be used against you, as was used against George Floyd, allegedly. Please remember that. But yeah, so that's where we got to. And then we obviously moved on to remembering Brother Khalid Abdul, which we just finished watching 2 great videos about, just to see the case study of how to control the narrative and how whenever you try to be dedicated to Black people, they will try to tarnish you and, you know, and dump a whole lot of things upon you and try to make you fight other brothers and sisters. So we're looking at how brothers like that dealt with that at the time and how they still came out on top with great speaking skills and great synchronization and great determination. And this is why we recommend those kind of brothers and sisters, you play their videos to younger generations just to get them motivated. Now we're joined by Brother Kel, very good contributor to the Black Bear broadcast, a very important brother. Anything you have to say, Brother Kel, in the last few minutes?
Yeah, I would say, you know, for those who are going to become up-and-coming revolutionaries, you know, try and be very nonchalant, be stoic, be very well versed in history and also understanding political science when you're dealing with adversaries, particularly non-African people who use unethical code of conduct. Very important because the way how you know, Khalid Abdul Muhammad dealt with it, you could see understood stoicism, nonchalant, you know, as I just said before, is very powerful because trickery of words and stirring emotions and bombarding you, having a cool presence in dealing with this is very important because if you're not focusing on the agenda through the fog, you can get misled and your whole game could shatter and then the predators will annihilate you. So understanding that, understanding the law of the land as well. A lot of us, we don't know the the discrimination acts in UK and America, etc. Using that is very important to combat with the history, to let the non-African people know that what you're saying and what you know is very true, but you're not trying to convince them. You're just trying to highlight their stupidity and also reminding, as what you say, brother, you're talking through people to get to the masses. So that's very important. As for what happened to our brother, is that it's all well, brother, you are right. You know, many times in history and political science, using weakness and submission to lower the guard of the enemy is very powerful in order for you to use a bold tactic to get out of it. I cannot say don't do anything because sometimes, brother, you know, lowering the guard of those who are in power, if you don't have a powerful bold move, they'll kill you anyway. You know, so if a person, and I'm going to be honest with you, brother, if you want to censor this, if an African descendant is able to escape the oppression with the police, whether they are using firearm or not, right, then they're going to have to do what they're going to have to do. If not, and the situation is a bit too hectic, then using weakness, submission to lower the guard and being conform in order for you to be tactful, that has to be an option. But I can't tell black people, you know, just be submissive and etc. Because
Mhm.
when you do that, they kill you. You know, you have to do what you have to do, man.
It is a very tricky, challenging one. Very tricky, challenging one. And hopefully, we get some content to try to push forward of maybe videos of people who successfully got away and what they do and this kind of stuff. But once again, it isn't a one size fits all metric. It's very tricky. But we definitely want to have as many philosophies as possible to keep black people safe when interacting with race soldiers. Now, what before I go, I was going to say just quick. I'm doing an exercise at the moment because I like rebranding and this kind of stuff, right? And
Right.
obviously, people were talking about Black Lives Matter, and I've always been quite consistent when I've said that any kind of institution or idea or movement or chant that wants to keep black people not dying, I'm always going to support the chant. But I also always have to look at any movement that comes forward. What are their views on certain things, like institutions, love, and economics, and this kind of stuff. And whenever they don't say much, then I'm always like 1 foot in for the good deeds, but 1 foot elsewhere, just in case things come out. So I will support all institutions that try to help black people, and well done for that. Well, what I'm looking to do is a campaign. I'm looking to I won't give away too much for now, but just from a talking tactic standpoint and a branding standpoint, think of how would I rebrand Black Lives Matter. Very, very interesting thing I'm trying to do. And hopefully next week I can present to you how I'm going to refer to Black Lives Matter moving forward. And this is obviously like a talking tactic. So anytime someone brings up Black Lives Matter, I have a way to turn it towards something that's more synchronized with, Black love and institutions and economics and this kind of stuff. Just so people know, because what will happen now, just like we saw on the Hannity and the other show, where they will try to look at what has been alleged as mismanagement of problematic behaviors that's allegedly happened. And they'll try to use that to undermine any constructive stuff that happens. So I'm going to do a little exercise. Hopefully I should be able to present it next week. But tune in for next week for that. And I'll make it sounds like I'm rambling now, but when it comes to rebranding, this is the kind of thing I do. I'll present to you, and hopefully what I'll do is I'll present the information, and then we can review it, whatever, and let me know if you guys think it's a good idea. And maybe in the next poster you'll see a design. And I guess the question is, how could you rebrand Black Lives Matter to be more black focused? If that makes any sense.
The survival of black lives creates generational survival of wealth.
Glad you said that, bro. And hopefully when you see the branding that I do next week, then you can jump in and you can see that all that will be included, and hopefully it makes sense. But until next week, family, that's I've been busy with some audio projects I'm doing. It's taking quite a lot of time, but when I get time, I'll do that. But thank you, family. But if anyone else in the family, we've any last questions in the family in the forum? Anyone wants to say anything now? Just give us your message. We'll read it out. But if not, we're gonna bid you black Betterment, and hopefully you can log in next week to see how we can rebrand Black Lives Matter, if we can at all, if we need to at all. But when you see it, we'll see it. But until then, if anything else, then I have to bid you all black Betterment, brother Cal.
Black Betterment, brother Raven.
Until next week, see you again. Have a good one.